I lost 70 pounds in 6 months and I still hated my body. I had no chest, small arms, a bit of a belly, and still had love handles. I didn't have a six pack and my confidence still wasn't high. That's when I'd realised that I'd fallen into the skinny fat trap. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix skinny fat in 90 days, the science that proves it works, and the exact diet and training plan that you need to follow. By the end, you'll know the most efficient way to burn fat, build muscle, and finally feel confident every time you look in the mirror. Plus, if you want a free custom training plan that's built by AI, then my free tool will do it for you, and a link's in the description below. But first, can you build muscle and lose fat at the same time? Is it even possible, and should you be trying? When I first discovered I was skinny fat, I thought I'd found the holy grail to fix it, which is a body recomposition. So imagine eating enough to build muscle, but also be able to lose fat at the same time, and watching your body completely transform without ever having to bulk or cut. To me, that sounded like the perfect formula, and I thought I was onto something. I dove in, I tracked every calorie that I ate, really trained as hard as I could, thinking I was on the smartest plan in the world. But after 2 weeks, nothing. I had no visible change, no boost in confidence, and I thought I just looked the same in the mirror with the same physique that I hated. For me, body recomposition is like trying to fill a bathtub without having the plug in. Progress is going to trickle in slowly and you're barely going to notice. And that's if you stay motivated to even keep going long enough doing a body recomposition. So if you want to stay skinny fat forever, I'd recommend body recomposition. But if you want to actually fix skinny fat in a 90-day time frame, then listen up. I don't know if you played GTA 5, but there was a bike in there called the Oppressor, and it was like just ridiculously overpowered. But basically on that, you had a boost. So you could press the button down and it'd boost you forward, and then you'd have to recharge your boost. So when you hit the boost, you fly forward, and then you cool down so you can recharge it. If you never boost, and you're just going to crawl along and not really get anywhere, but if you hold the boost constantly, you overheat, and then you just don't get anywhere because you need to recharge. Most skinny fat guys do one or the other. They either cruise forever by just eating enough to maintain, or burn themselves out by bulking too hard and just getting fat, and then again hating the way that they look. The fastest way out of the skinny fat trap is to choose when you boost and recharge. That's why I personally use a cycle to get out of skinny fat, and that is a 4-week mini cut followed by a 10-week lean bulk. The mini cut strips away the fat that makes you look soft, and then the lean bulk adds muscle where you need it in your chest, shoulders, arms, and that fills out your frame and fixes both halves of skinny fat, the fat loss and the muscle building. Here's the science behind why it works. The mini cut creates a calorie deficit which forces your body to burn stored fat that you have. And because it's short, you almost preserve all of the muscle mass that you have already. So the short deficit improves your nutrient partitioning, which means when you go into a lean bulk, your body is primed, ready to store more calories as muscle instead of fat. But here's the catch. If you fuel the Oppressor wrong, it doesn't matter how perfectly you drive it, you're still going to crash and make it nowhere. And if you want an exact nutrition strategy, then my AI skinny fat fixer will do that for you. The link's in the description below. You want to think about a race car. When it comes into the pit and the pit crew are fueling it up, they don't just throw like random gas and just normal petrol that you put in any car. They give it a special high octane fuel. And this is so that it can handle maximum performance. But when it's cruising between laps, they dial things back so the engine runs smooth and then it doesn't actually just burn out and blow up. Your diet is exactly the same. You want high octane precision during the mini cut, but then you can have a steady cruise when you're in your lean bulk. You want to think of the mini cut as boosting fuel. So that means that we want to have a calorie deficit of 750 to 1,000 calories below maintenance. You want to have a rate of loss at around 2 pounds per week. And then you want to have your protein at about 1 gram per pound of body weight. And your food focus should be on whole foods and filling foods to control hunger. So then you don't crash diet and binge on a load of foods because you're really hungry. Then when we get into the lean bulk and you want to think of having the fuel to cruise, you want to be in a calorie surplus of around 150 to 300 above maintenance. You want to have a rate of gain at around 0.5 pounds per week. You want to again aim for protein at around 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then your food focus is mostly healthy, but you can have a bit of freedom. If you want to have a McDonald's, if you want to have a cake or whatever, obviously go ahead. But the mini cut is when we're on it. The lean bulk is when you can have a bit more freedom. When you fuel each phase properly, you create the perfect conditions. Fat drops quickly in the mini cut without losing muscle, and the lean bulk builds new muscle without piling the fat back on. It's like swapping between turbo mode and endurance mode, and each one feeding each other and and working in unison. However, you can have the perfect plan in place and fuel it exactly right and still get nowhere in your car if you get this one part wrong. And every skinny fat guy gets it wrong, and I've got it wrong in the past as well, and it left me being stuck in limbo for years. So let's talk about the biggest step when it comes to fixing skinny fat, especially in the 90-day time frame we're talking about. So what's the one thing that can make or break your 90-day transformation, even if your diet is perfect? You want to think about building a house. It doesn't matter if you use brick, stone, or concrete. What matters is how strong each piece is and how they're stacked. If you put in the same effort every time, the walls are going to grow taller and stronger. But if you stop halfway through layering each wall, then the house is just never going to get finished. And training is exactly the same. It's less about what tool you use, barbell, dumbbell, or machine, and more about how much effort you put into each set and how consistently you show up and lay another brick. Which sounds like I'm referring to something else, but I promise you I'm talking about training in this analogy. So you want to train each muscle group at least 10 sets per week. You want to push every set to failure. This means where you physically can't do another rep, even if you've got a gun to your head. You want to progressively overload, so you want to aim to lift more weight or get more reps or both over time in every set and every session that you do. And you want to keep your form consistent and controlled. So every single set needs to be on point every single week. When you train this way, every single workout is like adding another solid wall to your house, and it doesn't matter if you train 3 days or 6, or whether you use barbells or machines. What matters is that each brick is laid perfectly and you never stop building until the house is done. And if you want the exact training plan that my free AI Skinny Fat Fixer built, then check the link in the description. However, everything I've just told you could be a complete waste of time unless you avoid the mistakes that made me almost quit getting into the gym, and I wouldn't be in the shape I am now. It's like following a treasure map, but half the landmarks on the map are just completely gone. You might get there eventually, but you'll wander in circles for months before you even find the prize. What I'm about to show you is the corrected map, and this is the one that gets you to the gold without the detours. So before you even start your 90-day plan, then watch this video next, because I'm going to walk you through every single trap that I fell into so you can skip them and get your transformation in a fraction of the time. Because even if you run the perfect 4-week mini cut, now your 10-week bulk, and follow every single training principle that I've gone through today, there's still a massive gap that will slow you down. And I know this because it took me 1,095 days to finally fix skinny fat, and I made every single mistake you can imagine going. So watch this video here and you're going to learn a lot more.